Have you ever seen a bike race where the decisive move was pulled off with the rider 100% fully rested? Neither have I. As you well know, most bike races, especially in road cycling, are decided after hours of tough racing. So why do we keep measuring performance in a rested state then? Well, we probably do so because it's convenient. And in doing so, we kind of rely on the assumption that if you're testing strongly when you're rested, you'll automatically be strong when you're fatigued. But there's actually quite a bit of research to suggest that may not be the entire picture. What I'm introducing here is a property called durability. And durability has been defined as the time of onset and magnitude of deterioration in physiological characteristics over time during prolonged exercise. In plain English, how quickly do you fatigue? And also, when you fatigue, how much does your power drop? In the last few years, we've seen an abundance of research on power data in professional road cycling. And it all points in the same direction. And that is, that durability is a quality that separates the truly high performers from the rest. Since 2021, we've seen at least 5 rather big studies on power data and durability in road cycling. And they show that when you look at the power records produced in a rested state, it's actually quite difficult to distinguish the high performers from the less successful riders. Because there really isn't that much of a difference in the amount of watts they can produce when they're in a rested state. However, that picture changes when you look at the power records produced after several hours of riding. And it seems that the longer you ride, the bigger the gap in power records produced between the high performers and the less competitive riders. More specifically, we see that World Tour riders are better able to maintain their power outputs when fatigued than does the lower ranked Pro Tour riders. In short, World Tour riders display better durability than Pro Tour riders. What's more, Pro Tour riders seem to have better durability than riders in the under 23 category. And to no surprise, under 23 riders have better durability than junior riders again. So what we see is that when you move through the ranks of international road cycling, the need for durability in order to be competitive seems to gradually increase. Now, there are some caveats with regards to interpretation of the results of these studies that you should be aware of. What these studies did was to collect all the power data from lots and lots of races over a big period of time in a big group of riders. And as you probably know, in road cycling, any rider tends to have a designated role within their team when racing. Now, we can't entirely rule out the possibility that the role of a given rider in a single race may impact the power records that that rider can allow himself to achieve. And for that reason, we need to at least look at the power records produced over lots of races over a period of time. But fortunately, a lot of the studies that I'm referring to did just that. For instance, the biggest set of published data included power records from 112 professional cyclists, and they collected a staggering 8 seasons worth of power data per cyclist, which is pretty impressive. The point I'm trying to get across here is that your real-life cycling performance is so much more than the FTP value that you achieve from a test performed with fresh legs. And more specifically, in the higher echelons of road cycling, your ability to maintain a high power output after performing a big amount of work seems crucial to succeed at the higher levels. Which of course begs the question, how can you test your durability? And more importantly, how do you train for it? Now that's the topic of my next video, but if you can't wait until then, you can read a post that goes deep into durability on my website, and I'll drop the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.